Hello, this is Deborah with Redirecting, and I'm going to be talking about something that's very strange. There are these Chinese ghost cities that are just popping up, right? Now, they have one in Angola, Africa. Very interesting, I might add. On the Watchman Reports channel, my husband talked about the ghost cities that are popping up. And it's very, very interesting that they are doing this and they are spending billions of dollars. And these units, these buildings, these cities are vacant, empty. Hardly anyone living there. They've replicated many famous cities such as Manhattan, replicating these cities, right? No one is there. And so it is very concerning to many as to why this is happening. And they have the resources to do it. Who has the resources to build all of these cities and no one is living there? Now, what I had in mind, this is what my thoughts were on the ghost city in Angola, Africa. As you see, the Chinese are literally making Africa their own. Okay, they're like taking over. We thought the Europeans had taken over the place and divided it back in the day, but what the Chinese are doing, they are taking it to a whole new level of takeover. And so my thinking was this, and I said this in a previous video, that what you see happening in Africa right now is that the Chinese are moving in record numbers. Okay, they are moving in, building infrastructure, setting up police departments, doing all of this in record numbers. But if you remember, the reports were that the Chinese have outgrown their space in China to the point where they're just literally living on top of each other. They've run out of space. They were even saying, look, we are too overpopulated. And so they put restrictions on the number of children you could have. And so anytime they would have a daughter, they would, get rid of the daughter because they wanted a son to carry on their lineage. And so many different strange things were surrounding that. And so they put their heads together. And this is just my theory, but it makes a lot of sense. They put their heads together and they said, look, Africa is vast in resources, lots of land, lots of space, this whole continent just there for the taking. Notice I said taking, not for the asking. Of course, we think they do it by permission, but they are making deals with the African leaders. And the people of Africa are not benefiting from what they are doing. But anyway, what we are seeing is that they go into Africa and they are not only mating with the people, the women specifically, because it's not the Chinese women going into Africa. And I'm not saying that none of the African men are marrying Chinese women. But when you look at the large number of Chinese men who are marrying African women and having children with them, they are solidifying their position in Africa. That is what is happening. They are having children with with the African women to solidify their position there. They are building infrastructure. They are investing heavily in the continent and all of these different countries to solidify their position. And so when I see a ghost city in Africa, in Angola, Africa, I'm thinking that maybe at some point it is their goal to have some of their people move from China to occupy the city, because we know that the vast majority of the African population cannot afford to live in these high-priced brand new buildings. Most of the population can't. So who are they building them for? Is it for them to relocate at some point in record numbers? Very interesting concept. But it's also scary to me when I hear of ghost cities popping up wherever they are. That is a very scary thing to me, because the Chinese have said, look, we have the money, we have the resources, so we're going to do something on this scale and we're going to be unstoppable. So if we want to move around to whatever location that will allow us to do ghost cities, we're going to do that. That tells you that they have some very deep pockets. And many of you may not realize this too, but America is in debt with China. We owe them a lot of money. So for those who are wondering, why is America not stopping this? What if they simply didn't have the power to do so? Because China is making its mark not just in Africa, but around the world. They are. And something of this magnitude, something this big, you've got to know that is very significant. Something that we should really pay very close attention to. Okay. There's been a lot of talk about China and Africa and African Americans and year of return and all of this. And so I think what we all need to do is pay attention. Information is coming from many directions, but we need to pay attention and understand what is happening. Don't be blind about anything. Don't just take anything at face value. Even with what we talk about on this channel, we are sharing information because we think that our people need to stay focused on reality and not this desire to just simply relocate and be out of this land. I understand that we are being persecuted here in America and in various regions of the world, but we want to make sure that we know what we're doing before we make a move anywhere. I don't care if you're moving from here to the UK or here to South America or even to Canada. Any major move that you make in life, you want to be well informed. And so when I see that China has a ghost city in Angola, it is very, very concerning to me seeing that they are buying up the continent. Okay, very concerning. And they've already shown that they have a disdain for melanated people too. Okay, so are we going to leave one place to go be ruled by another group of people who feel the same way? Those are things to consider, family. But anyway, I just wanted to share this this Chinese ghost city that is in Angola. They are not just in Angola or in Africa. They are in other places too. So that is something to research, family. And I wanted to say thank you to Sister Lisa and Brother Ruben for sharing this with us some time ago and just pointing this out to us, because it is a very, very concerning thing to me, at least. You see, very concerning. So let's keep our eyes on Africa and China. With that, I will say shalom. Be sure to ring the bell to be notified of new uploads on this channel, and also comment, share, like, and subscribe.